Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my weekly Scripture for Thoughts video show. I'm your host and most Reverend Preacher, Anthony Aunt T.Z. Walker. And now, we're up here in my apartment room in Allerton Avenue, Bronx, New York City, where everybody works hard, hustle the wise way, do a down payment investments, be all clean and spiffy, all up in my apartment room, Allerton Avenue, Bronx, New York City. Now, earlier today, when I was with my great friend and biblical scholar, Dywane Monsat, after we came from Bay Plaza Mall, we went to Pelham Parkway and White Plains Road to invite 112 people to church, but only 3 people took our flyers, and it was one old guy that was crippled. He's an old man. Another's a young man named Angel. Another a third lady. A third lady's an old Hispanic lady. Old Hispanic lady named Miss Maria. Now my sermon topic for tonight is, once you started out with nothing, then you build yourself up to be a heavenly foundation of success. Throughout time and space and time, when we have our business or our foundation or our groups, and then most people would want to leave you all of a sudden when they lose their faith and they don't believe in you anymore, and they don't have the vision of brightness but gloomness, and who have like a lot of doubts in their minds about a lot of doubts rather than a lot of beliefs that things will get better in life. A lot of people bail ship on you, on your group, on your businesses, on your foundations. But here's what we have to do, brothers and sisters of Christ. We have to work ourselves way up from the bottom on to the top to a heavenly strong foundation. Like for example, Master P is a great rap mogul. That he worked himself in the late 80s into nothing. He worked himself up with a lot of humble people, a lot of humble street people that was helpful and hardworking. Him and his people worked his way up to be No Limit Records, and also Master P is worth $100 million. You see how hard work happens when you start with nothing and you work your way up and you build yourself to a strong foundation? Now, here's these examples, back to the heavenly stuff. Here's these examples how you could build yourself into a heavenly foundation of success. Part 1, Genesis. Now, back in Genesis, in the beginnings, the earth was formless and was a rock, was formless piece of rock. Then all of a sudden, God had formed the clouds to rain water and had made waters and streams and oceans. And then after that, he had made crops. He had made crops of fruits and stuff and vegetables. And again after that, he had made the stars, the planets, and he had made the moon and the sun with one splendor, and he had made the day, made the darkness night, and the day and the light day. Then after that, he had made all the animals of all different array, of different uniqueness, and then after that, on the 7th day, God has rested from his work of 7 days of forming the earth. Now, my first example, part 1, is God and the forming of the earth of a sermon topic You must build yourself up from nothing and work your way up to become a heavenly foundation of success. And look at Jesus. Oh, part 2. Jesus and his growth of becoming of him being a leader in his great ministry. Look at Jesus. He came from humble beginnings. He was born in a smelly manger with Joseph and Mary and the animals. But throughout time and space, throughout time and Jesus' time growing up, he had learned the commandments. He had learned to understand it from God. He had preached, when he became 27, 26 years old, he started preaching the word. He had gained a mass of people. He had fed the poor. He had did miraculous signs to heal others, and to drive away evil spirits that was taking over naive, weak people. And then after that, after he formed himself 120 fellowship believers, then after that, Jesus was attacked, and he was arrested and attacked by the Roman soldiers. The people threw fruits and vegetables at him and slapped him in his face and said, "Prophesy to me, Lord, who hit you?" Then after that, he was put on the cross, and he died on the cross. And then after that, they put up his body in a tomb, and on the third day, Jesus had rose from the dead. He had made all the soldiers that was stuck up and was mean and disgusting. He caused both of the guards to faint. And then after that, he came to Mary Master Gay and the other women disciples, and said, "Do not hold on to me. Tell my disciples and Peter's I'm going to meet him at the disciple of Peter, and I'm going to meet him on the mountain." And then Jesus went on the mountain, and he proclaimed the Great Commission. Now, my part two of my sermon topic is Jesus, the growth of Jesus and his ministry, of him being a leader in his ministry. Now, the fourth example is David working 2 jobs. David working 2 jobs, and God had helped him to become the king of Israel. Now, David came from humble believers, doing 2 jobs of playing the harp and being a shepherd, saving the sheep from the wolves, from the bears, and from the lions. And God had helped him to slay down Goliath, and helped him to form armies of people to go against the Philistines, beat the Moabites, beat the Amorites, beat the Ammonites, and beat all others, the Assyrian armies, and all other armies that come to attack him. And then after Saul had killed him, as Saul had committed suicide, and then after that, the people of Israel had come to proclaim David king of Israel, king of Judah and Hebron and Israel. And then David become the king of Israel for like 40 years, and then he died. Now, part 3 is David and his growth of him becoming a great leader, a great king of Israel. Now, into my sermon topic, you have to work your way up with nothing. You have to start the work with nothing. To work your way up to become a heavenly foundation of success. Now my last example is the growth of Peter. Peter came from humble believers as a fisherman, and then after Jesus helped him to get a lot of fish, he became a follower of Jesus. He did a lot of mistakes. He did a lot of successes and stuff, what he learned from Jesus. He denied Jesus 3 times, but Jesus rose from the dead, and had reinstated Peter, become his right-hand man, and taught him many things. Then after Jesus was ascended to the clouds up in heaven, then Peter began preaching the words, healing, doing miraculous signs, and teaching the people that you must believe that Jesus Christ is the Messiah, the Son of God, who came by his blood to cleanse all sins, cleanse us of all sins by Jesus' blood. Now here's the conclusion. Now the next time when your group of people most of your group of people have abandoned you, jump ship, or leave you as just a short notice, you tell to the few people that's remaining in your group or your foundation or your business, we must work our way through a little bit. We must work our way from a little bit of enough with little bits of nothing to work our way up, become a heavenly foundation of success. And now as for in my apartment room in Allerton Avenue, Bronx, New York City, where everybody works hard, hustle the wise way, do a dollar payment investments, be all clean and spiffy, all up in my apartment room, Allerton Avenue, Bronx, New York City. Now as for my weekly Scripture for Thoughts video show, a Bronx special. Now as for me, your host of the most, Reverend Preacher Anthony Walker, now I will say this so you can move on with your life, move on with maturity with your life. Here we go. See ya.